thing has not budged. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, maybe a little. Maybe a little. Not a lot. It's a de-icer. I didn't get the water out of this thing in time, and it froze solid for a few weeks, and then I realized that I still can't get the water out because both of the pumps are broken, so I was like, okay, we'll just throw a de-icer in there. Not going to do much. It'll just keep a hole open in the ice, which is really just something you need to do for fish, but it's better than nothing. Hey, what's up, garden friends? Hope you're doing well. I'm great. Don't know if I even finished that sentence. I have been... crinkly, loud plastic, get that out of the way. I have been prepping for a storm. It's supposed to get cold again. Not terribly cold, but I think the lows are supposed to be in the upper 20s, maybe some dips into the teens, and next week looks like there might be some 10 to 11 degrees. So I thought that I should move some more of the plants in here. So I brought in the beautiful variegated bamboo and the yucca recurvifolias, which I know I keep talking about. Just look at the trunks on these. These are getting so big. So big and so nice. And these are all plants that can take this cold, but I just rather them not. I mean, what's the point? So they were put 20 feet that way. May as well stick them in here. But it's mostly actually to protect them from the wet, not the cold, especially the yuccas. The oleander is kind of for both, right? It shouldn't be experiencing too much cold and wet. Won't do all that well. It's the Awesome Pretty Limits. It's been very cold hardy. And I brought in a few other little things too. That doesn't really matter. I'm mostly just excited for some snow. I hope we actually get the snow. Palms are still looking okay. I think everything in here is good to go. Everything has had some watering over the last few days. Been doing my best. The hoses aren't hooked up, you know, so it makes it harder to get water out here to them, but everything has had a gentle drink. I'm hoping that things warm up some more soon so I can really come out here and give everything a very heavy drink. Get the hoses back. Get the what am I saying? Get the hoses hooked back up so they can water more appropriately. Nice deep watering. So that's really what they need. The main thing is to not let these guys dry out when you're trying to keep them dormant for the winter time. That was too long of an intro. That wasn't even an intro. I just started. I went and just kept going. That's probably gonna be the tone of this entire video. Things are a little bit weird right now. Can talk about that some more later, I suppose. Is that too loud? Here I was saying, we'll talk about that more later, I suppose, is what I was saying. I have a whole bunch of plants. They need to be unpackaged, unboxed, and tended to. You want to go inside, baby? What are you doing? You hear a dog friend? You can go check it out if you want to. I went to Lowe's several days ago and picked up some plants. Sorry I didn't bring y'all with me. I should have. I know, bad vlogger. Wasn't thinking. And then I have a whole bunch of plants that came in the mail today from Hirts or Walmart. Well, Hirts via Walmart. You go in? Go in. Ooh, and some seeds. Got some fun new seeds here that I want to get planted up. As I'm looking at this, realizing that I'm actually missing a pack of the seeds. Where's the spearmint? I had spearmint. I don't know where it went. Found them. They're under the couch. Of course, that's where everybody keeps their seeds, right? Got some new pants. Excited about new pants. None of my pants fit. They're like falling off me everywhere I go. And are you going to be sad? I don't want to leave you alone. I'm sorry. You could come out, but I think you're going to be bored out there, Turbo. Actually, there's not enough room for Turbo. You're too big. Too much dog. I love you. I love you so much, but you can't go out there. We had a walk. We played. We did things. You got to play with your cousins. He's lonely. But it's not going to be long, I promise. Okay, we'll go out to grow space, get the heater turned off so that the audio works, and I think I'll just let him. You can come. It's going to be a problem, but I'm going to let him come. Yeah, it's necessary. Wow, okay. He's never wanted to come out here with me. You really want to go out there? You're going to be so bored. Don't act like I didn't tell you, Turbo. No, he won't be oh, forgot. You got to turn that off. Well, okay, you missed it. He ran back inside. Lost interest quick. Not all that surprised by that. Now, I realized when I came out here that there's actually a lot to go over in this video. There's been a lot of plant stuff happening as far as like purchases go. Lots of things happening. Have the spearmint here. I also have some peppermint upstairs as well as what's in here. Those are things that I want to get seeded into all of the hydroponic gardens I've been showing at the beginning of the last, well, not the last, but some of the more recent vlogs. In the beginning, I've been setting up these hydroponic gardens so that I could compare them to the Aero garden. And a lot of the seed I used just didn't take. It was old seed, so I'm not shocked by that. So I ordered some things that I would want to grow, and I figure other people might like. I like spearmint. It's an easy one, and peppermint. I think they both taste the best in like a tea. So there's that. And then this right here is a fun tropical that, I don't know, we'll have a look at that whenever it's time to get to the seeds. The radishes, those aren't going to go in the hydroponic gardens. I don't know how well that would work out. It's just that time of year I'd like to get some of those planted up. And finally, I have my plant to go in the wart pipe. It's been one of those things where I had a vision in my head of what I wanted to put inside of this pot / pencil holder. That's how it was labeled. But I just couldn't find exactly what I wanted. And then eventually I was patient and found it on Etsy. It was kind of pricey. I'm not thrilled about the cost, but I think it's going to be worth it. So that's actually, it's right here. You want to just do it? You want to see it? We'll just jump right into that. So it's sitting here on the desk, so may as well have a peek. Oh, look at them balls. Cute, right? It has a label, but it's stuck in there, and it's not a name that I'm going to bother trying to say out loud. It's a fairly common cactus, the Tephra cactus geometricus. There we go. It's just they grow in these fun balls. Usually 2 to 3 high, and they spread out. They're kind of fun. They have kind of an opuntia, or opuntia, however you want to pronounce it, esque quality to them, but, you know, just balls. That was too much zoom, but I did want to get y'all in there so that we can have a look at the glaucids. So this one isn't covered in big spines. You see there's some big spines. You see all those little bitty ones right there, that white stuff? Those are glaucids. Those are tiny little fiberglass-like needles, cactus spines that get into your skin, and they're really annoying. So I am going to hold off on potting this up until I remember to grab a couple sets of gloves and some paper, some things that I'm going to throw away to wrap around it. And we'll get that potted up. I think it's going to look really cute in there. Also, I need to make up some cactus mix. I don't think I have anything that's pre-bagged, so I'm just going to have to, you know, just add some sand to a mix. I'm sure I have something around here. Okay, I started to go grab my containers to start mixing up some nice sandy mix and everything. And I just told myself to go ahead and just stop because there are a lot of plants sitting around me right now. And I think it would be good to go ahead and get them sorted out because everything is going to need to be watered. So I'm going to start off with the plants I picked up from Lowe's. A lot of what I got was on clearance. They had a huge shipment of plants come in, just boxes upon boxes. So a lot of what they had in stock already was on clearance. And I'm all about clearance plants. And I got lucky, and they actually had some stuff that I really liked. This one right here is labeled as String of Frogs ficus, which, yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll call it that. Common name for them. You can see why, right? It looks like a string of frogs. I like them because they look like a nice miniature ivy. And these do really, really well in terrariums. Not going to be as fussy as an ivy. They can take some drier conditions. They need to stay consistently moist, but they're not going to be like ivies. Where, what is the why don't you, here, I'll put it right there. Will that work? There we go. So that could be like with an ivy, where if you don't have just the right moisture and you aren't being pretty on top of how you're maintaining the plant, where they might just rot or become infested with spider mites. Although these can be pretty prone to spider mites too, so not saying that this is going to be foolproof in that sense, but my main thing is that it's good for terrariums. That's going to be the main theme here with pretty much everything that you're going to see, is that these are largely plants that I want to use in terrariums. You see that graceful habit of this? It's graceful and has that jungly vibe to it. It's be great in fairy gardens or in terrariums, however you want to do it. So many uses for the string of frogs. I just think it's cute. Like I said, looks like a miniature ivy. I have another miniature plant when we get to the Hirts plants that looks really cool. But before we do that, let's go ahead and move on to the rest. The rest of the plants from Lowe's is what I meant to say. Yeah, remember, these were on clearance, okay? So some of them might be looking a little bit rough, but they're gonna be fine. These are plants where as long as you give them the moisture, that humidity, and some warmth, they'll open back up and look great in no time. So this got a little bit smashed, but it's all right. Oh, look at that. Beautiful hemigraphis right here, waffle plant. Beautiful. I love that one. And that's what this was. I just started zooming right through. Didn't even show you what these were. Just a variegated waffle plant. Really pretty. Great again for the terrariums. This one's called Snow White. The Snow White waffle plant. Hemigraphis alternata. Excellent plants. And then in here, this one just says mystery plant on it. Wick and grow. But it's a pilea. Dark mystery. As far as the pileas go, this one is a larger leaf on it. Really shiny and glossy with the silver on the inside. The more light these get, the more that color intensifies. They don't need a lot of light. I would say moderate, medium light is what's going to keep them happy. Speaking of keeping things happy, oh, these next plants, they're just awful. I'm gonna kill them. Okay, well, ideally not, but maidenhair ferns. I cannot grow these unless they're in a closed system, something to hold in moisture. Otherwise, they do not do well for me. So, going to have to be very on top of making sure that these get a dome or something over them right away. And then, am I going too fast? I don't know. I'm in the mood to look at the plants and get them unpacked. Do we need to appreciate the maidenhairs a little bit closer? This is the rosy maidenhair. Are they going to give a Latin name? I'd be impressed if they did that. Look at that. Idiantum scutum. Scutum. Roseum. Yeah, so not the same as the perennial types, right? These aren't the ones that we have out in the garden, but very similar and just as delicate, right? The radiatums. Well, actually, there are some radiatums I'm pretty sure are going into zone 6. Maybe even zone 5. I don't know. But the main thing is houseplant, not something I'm going to be trying out in the yard. Another great one, similar to the larger pilea back there. This one right here is the Pan Am. Oh, that makes me think of Cyberpunk. Y'all play Cyberpunk? That's a really fun game. Okay, neither here nor there. A rounder leaf. Same shiny appearance with that gloss. They kind of glisten, right? Is that a theme here? It's a theme for me when it comes to choosing terrarium plants or just trying to indulge that winter lull that we go through. I know a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about, where I just miss the plants. I'm really drawn towards greens and glossy. The more glossy, the better, because it just feels more lush and more vibrant, and just something about it makes me happy. And again, with the terrarium stuff, that's what I like to see. And that aside, appearance-wise, these are just great terrarium plants. Pileas, fantastic to put inside of a closed system. Okay, there's another maidenhair fern I'm looking at down here. This one's not looking very good, but I think it has some potential. Yeah, I mean, it's got hope. Different type. This is the Venus, the bronze, really commonly sold. The bronze idiatum hispanatum. Yeah, hispidulum. The name on that one. So when they look like this is something I would probably plant up, cut back all the way, keep glass over it, keep it consistently moist and warm, meaning like over 75 but not over 85, and it should resprout and look just fine. So I know it doesn't look great, but remember, clearance. These were all on clearance. Well, I think maybe one of them wasn't, but the majority of them were on clearance, which is why I also picked up one of these guys right here. I love them. I have tons of them. I don't need any more, but it was so cheap, and they make me so happy. This is a Tillandsia, the Cyane, pink quill, common name for that one. It's being sold as a bromeliad. Yep, just bromeliad. The more light this gets, the more vibrant pink to magenta this will become, and they put out little purple flowers that come all the way up the side of this inflorescence. They start from down low and work their way up. So if you're going to buy one and the flowers are up top, like around here, the purple flowers, I wouldn't bother, because that means it's pretty much done flowering, and then this dies off and the plant doesn't look as great. Another thing I absolutely love about this plant is that they smell fantastic. Not everybody can smell it, but I like it. It's kind of a sweet, spicy cinnamon to vanilla scent. It's very nice. It's a very good smell. Okay, another one. I know, we're zooming through these, but there's so much stuff to do. Petunia, right? It's just a great Petunia. Ruby red Petunia. Love them. They're fantastic. These also, some of these have this lean to them because they were sitting in that bag overnight. I went to Lowe's yesterday, so that's why they're looking like that. They'll straighten back out. I didn't expect them to have a bend so quickly, but it happened. Petunias are great. They need things consistently moist. That's very important with them. They like it humid. Another, do I have to keep saying it? A great terrarium plant. Everything I've gotten, with the exception of that cactus and the next two plants, are terrarium-based plants. Things that I want to use in a terrarium, or I just want to have around because they smell nice and they make me happy. Otherwise, they're plants that I like to put in a terrarium. Okay, this one's stupid. It's real stupid. Don't judge me, but I like the pot, and it was small, and I thought it was cute because it was small. But it's stupid. You want to talk about why it's stupid? We can do that. First, we should go over what it is. It's a money tree, a pachira, right? A pachira, don't care how you say it. Very common house plants, but I don't usually see them this small and stupid. They're usually really big, or they're the same size but not braided. This is ridiculous. And I kind of liked the pot. I thought it was cute. The other reason I got it was because this is a plant people have asked me to talk about, but I never wanted to buy one. I had one years ago. I didn't want to get another one. So I figured, okay, well, I'll go ahead and just get this one. It's on clearance. I like the pot. It's cute and stupid. This is not an ideal setup for this plant. We'll talk about that whenever I talk about the care for these, but if you know anything about them, you know, they do like some moisture, and they can actually grow relatively quickly. And this size container just isn't going to do for a very long time. And yeah, it's actually, I feel like the soil that it's in might be draining a little bit too quickly, but they're also somewhat versatile, so we'll give it that. I just thought it was cute. The next one is not looking great, and it has a bag stuck to it. My hands are full. Hold on. And the reason this one isn't looking great is by no fault of Lowe's. I dropped the bag. That's kind of what happened with all these here. I probably should have said that to begin with. But it's going to be okay, because this is a very, very, very tough, sturdy plant that will live for a very long time. In fact, I just need to give it a little bit of TLC, and I'm guessing within a week that this will probably be straightened out all on its own. It's in a self-watering container, which I don't really think is necessary for these. But right now, I'm going to say that it helps. This is a Dieffenbachia, and it just has the prettiest variegation on it. I can't remember the name on this one. It just says Dieffenbachia. It's a popular one, so I should have the name in my head. I should remember it, but I don't. And I'm sorry that I don't. But maybe y'all can help me out and comment down below if you remember what this particular Dieffenbachia is called. There are so many different types. This one, I just love the variegation on it. It's so varied and random, but it's not chaotic. It's not too terribly splotchy. I just think it looks so cool, doesn't it? I really like how it just looks like a normal-ish green leaf that's been highlighted with the white. When you have the lighter edge on a leaf, it just makes the foliage look like it's glowing, and this has some glow to it, doesn't it? Isn't it just beautiful? I think it's fantastic. I don't have Dieffenbachia right now. I haven't in a long time because of the toxicity, which is kind of crazy because I grow a lot of plants that are pretty dang toxic. But for some reason, Dieffenbachia is where I've drawn the line. I don't know what that's about. So I've decided that I should start getting some more because they're very long-lived. They're very easy plants to have around. They're very adaptable. When things go wrong with them, once you start to have some stem on them, you can shear them back to nothing and they'll resprout and start looking great again. I bring that up because sometimes they get spider mites or mealybugs, and once they're large enough, no big deal, because you can just go in, cut everything off, wash them off, and basically just start the whole thing over. They don't care. These things are thugs. Just gotta keep it away from curious mouths, like I'm saying whenever I talk about plants that have some toxicity, and they'll be totally fine. And like I said, this one is gonna look great again pretty soon. This needs to right itself back up. It's gonna be fine, I promise. Okay, so now I need to get everything cleared off of here so that I can make room for the next load of plants, which are all plants from Hirts. I'm debating, do I go ahead and put this on the plant shelves that will straighten out a lot faster? But that's also where I spray. It's just neem though. I don't ever use chemical to it. I was thinking that I shouldn't put this on the plant shelves and then spray it and then move it in the house later, because I don't like anything in the house that's been sprayed, but that shouldn't be a problem. It'll be fine. Okay, look at, and just like that, everything's cleared off. Barely had enough room on the plant shelves for everything. Managed to make it work. I still have some of the other plants over here because I wanted to give them some more water, keep an eye on them. Probably gonna come in here and trim up some of that brown stuff in the Dieffenbachia. But now we can move on to everything from Hirts. I did have to open the box without y'all. I'm so sorry, but it's cold outside. And it was sitting on the front porch and I wanted to get it popped open as quickly as possible. So, I mean, you're not missing. Here's what the inside of the box looks like. These were laying on their side. I'll pick that up later. And there's a heat pack in here that really didn't have much heat left in it, but it is in there. It's cool now. It's been a couple hours. I don't fully understand, and I've talked about this in other videos, what is the point of putting a heat pack in a cardboard box? Cardboard doesn't insulate very well. So if you're not gonna wrap the whole thing up, like just wrap the entire box in this foamy material, then add the heat pack. Like, I could understand that, but that's not what they do. Whatever, it's fine. We'll probably start with these two because they're all kind of docked together there. We have scissors. Scissors would be useful. I don't see any. So, okay, I have a box cutter. And I guess can make that work. Just need to be, oh, this stuff tears no problem. I don't need scissors. Just be very gentle here and try my best to not actually break the plants up. See how easily that tears? That just splits right apart. Perfect. Don't need anything special for that at all. Come in here. These all should be perfectly fine. I do think I might be missing a plant. I think I am, but oh well, we'll figure that out later. Oh, look at the gloss. Look at the shine. Isn't that just beautiful? Especially with the background, the waterfall and everything all blurred out. Camera came to work today. This is looking fantastic. You might be wondering, what is it? It's a heart fern. Really, really, really common fern for terrariums. I also, as I mentioned, with some of these other plants, don't do very well with these if they are not surrounded by glass. Heart ferns can be pretty sturdy though. They just need to stay consistently moist. I love a heart fern. Absolutely love them. I don't remember ordering this one. So there were two plants that I mainly did the order for, and they're not here. The two plants I wanted the most aren't here, so I don't know what that's about. I'll have to check the invoice later. The whole reason I placed the order isn't here. I added other things because it's like, well, if you're paying for shipping, may as well get some more stuff, right? Yeah, and this is all nice stuff. I'm happy with these things too. This is a button fern. Really great texture to these. Something about button ferns reminds me of like a lichen or something. Is that weird? Do you know what I mean? Like they have, I don't know, kind of a weird aquatic or not even aquatic, epiphytic vibe to them. But not the case. A really pretty fern. Lots of fun in terrariums. They have a lot of texture to them. They don't get huge, which is one of the reasons that I like them for a terrarium. They stay more on the smaller side, which is more fitting because there is a plant here that you're about to see right now, another fern, that will get rather large for a terrarium, for like a glass type terrarium. If you have a really big, huge setup, this would probably be fine. This is, I believe, the ribbon lace fern. Is that what we're calling this? Yes, it just says ribbon fern, but I'm pretty sure it's the lace ribbon fern when they have that variegation in there. Fun plants have that trident shape to them. Lots of character. Look at the variations in color. I love the way the white and the green fades together in the center and they have that hint of green in the vein that fades out. Really pretty, nice texture to them. These can get tall. So if you're putting them in like a jar or something, you're gonna have to stay on top of pruning them or, I don't know, repot them every few years or re-terrarium them every few years. Okay, next plant. Not that exciting because it's a repeat. I wanted two of these. They're just really nice plants that I like to have around for different plant crafty projects, so I ordered another one. The nurseries don't have much in stock right now. They will in a few weeks, but this time of year, there just isn't much going on. So I wanted to have my own supply of things that I can work with if I decide to do some terrariums. If you haven't caught on to the fact that I want to set up a terrarium, that's why I have all these terrarium type plants here. That's not what this is for though. This next one, maybe in a really big terrarium, this would be great, but it has to be pretty big because this is a climber that can get decent sized leaves on it. Not huge, but a little bit larger than some of the others. The price in this was just too good. Not a plant that oh, wow. Oh, it's so pretty. It has some shipping damage, maybe cold damage. I'm not sure, but it's not going to die. It's a variegated Sony, and they're pretty. Wish it looked a little bit better, but you know, sometimes these things with the fenestrations don't always ship that well. And it's an Adansonii, so I don't really care about that. It's a plant that is super sturdy, and I'm not going to have to do much to get this to look really nice. It's even got two growths in there too, look. Well, this one only has one leaf on it that doesn't look very good. But there's still nodes on that one growth down there, so it has potential to keep growing. And this other growth is the one that's looking much, much, much better. I'll go ahead and let that leaf yellow out in case that stem down there is pulling something from it. But otherwise, I'd say trim that off. Yeah, it's a nice looking plant. Moist, not dry. Looks pretty nice. Yeah, I think that's going to be really pretty. Could put it in a basket. I'm going to put it in something with a pole so it can climb. Or, actually I have other ideas, but those are going to have to wait till the summertime to do anything more exotic with them. But I think that's everything, minus the plants that I was really excited about that they didn't send. I don't know where they are. Overall, what I have here looks pretty good. I did just now, in between clips, email the seller, Hirts, and said, hey, there's 3 plants missing, or they're being shipped separately. The shipping notification I got this morning saying that the plants were on their way said there would be 8 items in the package. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 missing plants. I don't know, maybe they're being shipped separately. Find out about that later. At the very least, I'm sure they'll refund them. I am going to give these all some time, get the plastic removed from everything, and move them to a spot where they're not going to get blasted by the heater. Maybe give them a day or so until I start to do anything with them. I would like for everything to just sit and chill for a little bit. They've all been shipped, and then all those plants from Lowe's, you know, they have some stress to recover from too. So I'm going to do my best to just let them be, let them relax. I think the next thing to do would be to go ahead and get this cactus potted up because it's just sitting here without any pants on. Need to get that set up so that it doesn't start to freak out on us. Oh, but first, yeah, I need to get all this taken care of, remove those plastics and everything, come back and get that thing potted up. Okay. Not a from the bag palm cactus mix. I have opinions about that, by the way. Palms and cactus don't need the same soil blend, but regardless, this will work. It doesn't matter. This is just standard all-purpose potting mix. This is fine white sand. Actually, probably too much fine white sand. You know, when you buy, at least with Miracle-Gro, when you buy their palm and cactus mix, it's the same base. It just has more sand in it and maybe some less bark, but it's not a tremendous difference, right? It just needs to be a nice, well-drained, airy blend of soil. That's what cactus need. Nice, well-drained. I like to have some grit. Actually, I don't have the materials right now, but I usually like to have a few different various sizes of pumice, lava stone to put into the mix, but I don't have any right now, and this sand is going to work just fine at making sure that everything drains nice and quickly. And you know, not all potting mixes are created equal. Not each bag is the same. So I have multiple bags of just Miracle-Gro over there, and one of them is really heavy and dense, and I'm not going to use it. I'm going to spread it in the garden. It's mucky. It's going to hold on to too much water, whereas my other bags are light and fluffy. You can feel it in the bag. Sometimes that happens at the store. You can feel it. If you lift up the bag and it feels heavy, don't buy it. You want the bags to be nice and lightweight. You should have to rehydrate this when you bring it home. With those brands, anyways, big brands like Miracle-Gro. There are some others that are just supposed to be a little bit more dense because maybe they are meant for moisture retention, or they're known for having a lot of organic materials in them. That's going to bulk them up and make them more dense. But if it's a peat base all-purpose potting mix and the bag's really, really heavy, and then you pick it up, if you're able to actually see the soil and you're clumping it, just forming into a ball, that's bad. Don't buy it. The bag that I have right now that's like that, it sat out in the cold for a while, and I think that it just spoiled. That happens sometimes, but I have had it happen where I was going through the pallets at the store and would have to dig down kind of far to find bags that weren't all saturated and mucky. Yeah, okay, so you see this? Look at that. Beautiful sandy blend. Like I said, it'd be good to add some more grit into it, but this should be just fine for the cactus. The main thing is to not overwater it. Already have to be careful about overwatering, right? Because this is a deep pot, and that is not a plant that wants things very deep. So need to make sure that keep that in mind. I'm gonna just be giving it little drinks of water from time to time. It's not a good idea to put anything in the bottom for drainage. Oh, this does have a drainage hole drilled in it. I don't know if I filmed that or not. I don't think I did. But in a video a few weeks ago, I mentioned that I was going to add drainage to them. So it does have a hole there. See that? Great big hole. Didn't put anything over it. Could put a coffee filter, or some screen. I have a lot of screen around here that I could have used, but chose not to because I forgot about it until just now. That's okay. That's how we do things sometimes. I try and get that soil up into the lip. I have some more decorative stone that I maybe could have used in this. It doesn't need it. This is going to drain just fine. I need to stop obsessing over the stone. It really doesn't matter. That looks pretty good. Need to have a nice sized well in here to go ahead and get that third ball down into, I guess, the baseball. Oh, baseball. Almost time for spring training. Don't know if anybody cares about that. Any Cardinals fans out there? Any of y'all left? Pull that to the sides. It's holding pretty well. I'm happy with that. Oh yeah, I need to wrap my hand on something. Okay, figured I have a tripod here. This is probably the time to use it, right? Don't want to be holding the camera with one hand and trying to hold the cactus with the other. The spines on this, like I mentioned, they're not that bad. It's all these fine little hair-like ones that I want to avoid. So typically with cactus, I would maybe take this paper right here. That would work fine. Oh, look at that. Nice gritty mix. You can have some of that. And take that, fold it up. Used to do this with newspaper back in the day when I got newspaper. Now sometimes I'll use old towels or rags. Sometimes I'll use paper that's about to start looking not too great that I used to line the bird cage. Stuff like that. Make sure I'm repurposing those things as much as possible. And then you just kind of make a tong with them. Also, you can just use tongs. Tongs work fine, but I wouldn't use tongs that you plan on eating with because of those little glockheads. That, and it's best to separate food things from plant things unless it's edible plant stuff. You know what I mean? I am gonna wanna make sure this is centered because it will look so stupid if it's not centered. The whole reason I even thought that this might look kind of cute is because of the, I don't want to say monopodial habit to it, but kind of monopodial. Like it is. This is monopodial, sort of. It is. It's not branching, so we can use that terminology. Fill in. Gently pack it in. Quick and simple. Okay, are you ready? I mean, you can already kind of see it, so it's not that dramatic of a reveal. I haven't top dressed it yet. It's so stupid. I love these cactus so much. There's not much to them. They're just stinking cute. I haven't grown the Tefro Geometricus in a long time, so I'm not gonna try and talk about the care because I need to do some refreshing in my mind. And the only reason I bring it up is because I do think I probably should have planted it a little bit deeper, but we're not done yet because I haven't top dressed it yet. Don't give me grief over it, okay? I wanted something colorful that would make me happy, and it's gonna make me happy. Also, it's all I had sitting around, and it's gonna do just fine, right? This will work. I do think that just a plain neutral stone would look wonderful, but I'm not really a plain neutral kind of person, so I don't have any plain neutral stone, right? Oh, okay, I mean, come on. This doesn't need to look classy. It's a wart pipe, and it looks freaking awesome. I do think that one of the moon cactus, you know, just the ones grafted on top of some dragon fruit stock, or red one, some of you suggested that too. I think Michael, you had suggested that would have looked great in here because it kind of looks like the piranha plants that come out of these. But I wanted the balls. Look at the balls. They're just so stinking cute. They're so stinking cute, and really, I think, easier to take care of than the moon cactus. I mean, moon cactus are fairly simple, but you end up having the stock on the bottom that wants different care from the actual moon cactus on top. Those gymnocalyciums don't necessarily want as much water, and if they are being grafted onto the epiphyllums, which they usually are, those want more humidity, and they end up growing much more quickly too, so you end up needing to do things differently. You end up having to prune them, and it just becomes stupid over time. I do have some other interesting pots coming in the mail that I will probably do something like a moon cactus in, but for this, nope, I think this is perfect. I want to put googly eyes on it. I'm not going to, because I feel like y'all would get mad at me if I did. You gotta admit, a couple googly eyes right there, that'd be stinking cute. Okay, that's gonna do it for now. Pick up later, do something else, probably just get some seeds going, something like that. I don't know, there's a lot going on right now. Okay, Time for a very quick update on the countertop hydroponic gardens. Not a lot to say other than, nah. Like, what the crap? This is the poppy. You may as well just grow these under a potato. That's a pathetic grow light. Nothing's happening there. Nothing good, anyway, is happening with that one. I have had some bad seed germination, which I mentioned, I'm pretty sure. So what I've done is I've gone through and reseeded one side with peppermint, the other side with spearmint, and then some of the other holes that were more towards the back was some Emerald Towers basil. It's a basil that gets the tall and narrow. Seems more fitting for something where the space is so incredibly crammed. It's been about 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, should be seeing germination on more than this. And like I said, some of those seeds I put in here were really old. The peppers and tomatoes weren't that old, so I've had good germination with all of those. Well, most of them, not all of them. Accidentally, it looks like I got a tomato in over here. I'm not sure how that happened, so I was being really careful, but I guess not careful enough. That or it's a weird pepper with a split leaf, but I doubt that's the case, right? Other things that are happening in here, not much. Just some of them have a little bit of mold in them. Little tiny amaranthus coming up there, but yeah, gonna have to wait, give it more time. The one advantage of the poppy is that I can lower this grow light down really close if need be, but that doesn't seem to be making a difference with having it down that low. That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, it's not working. Not working well for me, but it is at least an improvement over a few weeks ago, because a few weeks when I set this up, I couldn't get the dang thing to turn on. But eventually I found a power brick that was working with it and not burning out after 24 hours like the others were. So, yeah, this is the update. We're at the 2-week mark. Some stuff going on. Not much. It's more like, actually, no, 3 weeks. This is the 3-week mark. So that does make a difference. Everything in here should have sprouted by now. I did mention that this bathroom is pretty cold, but not as cold as the guest room over here where the arrow garden is. I want to put the arrow garden in the colder room to help, maybe balance out that variable. It'd be better to have them all together, but there's nowhere to put the arrow garden in here. It wouldn't have happened. Let me go. Had to turn the light on in there. Look at the arrow garden. So this is 4 weeks of growth. I'm going to say we've got a pretty clear winner here, but I'm going to go ahead and let this run through and give it a full probably 2 or 3 months with everything to see what happens and how they're doing when I've been doing the fertilizing and everything every couple of weeks. This has only had one fertilizing now because, well, it took them 2 weeks to get going, and then I gave them another week to set some roots down and everything, and then I did the liquid fertilizer that came with it. So, yeah, I need to make sure there's been some of that routine. But look at these tomatoes. Look, they're already covered in trichomes. Like, absolutely covered. That's a really good sign of health on these plants and buds. That should have been the first thing I point out, is they're already covered in buds, and these are, I don't even know, how tall are these? Maybe 4 inches? If even? Yeah, probably 4 inches. So they go down a little bit further. None of these were pinched. They're just nice and stiff. One thing, though, I should mention, there's not enough room in here. Everything I put in here are like super dwarf varieties that are meant to be grown on countertops, but it's still not enough room. Which I assume is why a lot of people do things like, not basil, lettuce in these that has that more upright growth to it. You can squeeze a lot more in there. I could rearrange, these are in pods, so I could pick them up and move the tomatoes to the outside so they're not shading the pepper so much, but I think I just want to leave it, let it be, and just see what happens. But I'm pretty sure it's going to have a clear winner here, and that's going to be the tomatoes and the peppers inside of that arrow garden. Yeah, look at how nice and healthy, lush, and stiff the growth is on these. This is without a pinch. They're just nice and healthy, and that's because high quality, or at least decent quality. I'm going to say high quality. Look at that growth. That's high quality on that grow light. For $44.99, that was the price on this. It was on sale, so I think it was around like 50 or 70, something like that, but still. This is clearly the winner. But, like I said, I'll keep going. I'm going to see what happens, but this is, if I were to pick one out, this is one I'd want to grow. Best deal, best light, not a lot of space. I wish it were bigger. That would be nice if there was an option for maybe for different trays you could put in them that were all the same but with different configurations with the holes. There are, I actually don't know if the arrow garden came with them, but there are little caps you can put on these, so if you decide that you don't want to use all of those holes, then you can cap them off. So that's an option, but it would just be nice if it were bigger, because I don't want to just grow 2 plants in these. Nobody does. I think that I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to give this some more time. I do think this light is strong enough that at least some of the peppers will be able to come through, but I mean, look at how shaded some of them are back here. Right, there's one in the very back that's not doing anything, but it was a late starter. That pepper seed back there just started growing like a week ago, whereas all these others started about a month ago, so yeah. All right, there's the update. Oh, there we go. It's the next morning, and there's some, you can't see it. I don't think you can see it. There's some steam. That was the idea here. I just wanted to get that stuff melted so I can get, I have little micro pumps I can put in here and try and pump this out. What I think I might do, it's probably not a great idea. I know this is in October. It just keeps blowing over, so like you just hang out there. It's the best way to protect it. And it's still out here because occasionally I've been setting it up and putting it in there because sometimes the sun comes out and it gets warm in there. This, the little pumps, I can pump it out, or I might just take a couple tarps and toss it over this entire thing, because that little heater, the ice melter thing that goes in ponds to keep a hole open for oxygen for fish, it's working really well. I should grab a thermometer probably and see what that... No, that's warm. I don't think that's going to freeze if I throw a tarp over there. I think it'll be okay. That would be ideal, because I just don't want this thing to crack. That'd be bad. I was supposed to drain this down in the fall and cover it up like I always do, but instead I forgot. And I'm very fortunate that it didn't crack with those single digits that we had a few weeks ago. Hey, look at that Aspidistra. Look at them. Looking pretty good, right? This one over here, also looking pretty good. That's after having, what, 12, 13 inches of snow on top of them? You know, the snow insulates, so makes sense. These actually are some of the best looking Aspidistras I've had in mid-February. Usually they die back to the ground unless you have a very mild winter. And despite all the snow, I would still call this a pretty mild winter, because we haven't dropped below 0 yet. It's been pretty decent outside, so it's a sloppy camera work. With the snow coming, I thought about maybe bundling up the needle palms again, but I don't think I'm going to. They can handle some snow. Coldest temperature is supposed to be like 11. They'll be fine. Spurge. Silver Edge. The very on that one. That has held up very well also, considering how cold it's been. I don't think anything else other than the Rhode are up. The Saxifraga, kind of. But for being a Zone 4, is that what this is? Zone 3A? I was expecting it to stay looking a little bit nicer than this, but that's not bad. Nice thing about it is it should bounce up back and look very nice pretty quickly. Rhode looks the best. That's a champ. Talk about a really sturdy, hardy evergreen that doesn't look like a boxwood or a pine tree or a holly. Something fun and unusual. Okay, there's the impromptu update nobody asked for. I'm gonna go back to the grow space. It's cold. Just thought, since it's supposed to be having all the snow and everything coming through, should give those updates with what's going on. Oh, I need to move this inside. I think that should go in. Oh, wow. This might be some of the biggest snowflakes I've ever seen. Turbo approves. I know, I keep saying we're going to go into the grow space, but then the snow started happening. Y'all know I get so excited about this. I didn't know he was going to be doing that. I'm sorry. Anyways, yay, snow. As I was saying, look how big these flakes are. Remember these moments, to all the people who comment, why don't you just move to Florida? I love the snow. I know, there are places I could live where all the plants would grow outside year round, but this way I get to have my cake and eat it too. I'm trying to catch one. I can't catch it. They just crumble. They crumble as soon as they hit. That's too bad. I want to see what one of these guys look like. They're freaking huge. Oh, well, I have everybody out here. Think about making some changes over here underneath the tailored junipers. These roses right here, which are very pretty, they get a lot bigger than I thought. So I wanted more of a drift kind of situation here, so I'm probably going to swap these out with drift roses. I can't decide between the apricot peach or the, I think it's called pretty pink. It's a kind of a light blush pink. There's one that's a really vibrant pink, but I think that would fight with the more muted tone of the Taylor juniper. So if anybody has any input, I appreciate it, because I just can't make up my mind. It's going to be one of those two. Or maybe the reminiscent pink roses from Proven Winners, but those go like 2.5 to 3 feet tall, and I really want something with more of a mound. So do like 3 of those, and might come in here with some boxwoods. Some sprinter boxwoods, because I need a hedge. I miss having hedges. Okay, yeah, that's enough. Now we will really go into the grow space, I promise. I mean, maybe. This is so pretty, I don't want to go inside. Neither does he. He's having the time of his life. You having so much fun, Turbo? Yeah, I know. You love the snow. This is perfect Labrador weather. I keep picking up, like, different projects, keep actually picking things up, thinking, oh, I should do this. But then I'm missing something. I have a whole bunch of seeds. It's mostly chives and radish that I'd like to get planted, but I'd like to put them in kind of a, you know, like a cute container, and I don't have any right now. Oh, another flower opened up in the brassavola. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful flowers. These are things that need to be repotted or somehow need some kind of work. That's why they're sitting here. I swore I wasn't going to keep plants on this thing, and here we are. There's plants on the thing. Dieffenbachia is looking better. It's been a day. Actually, when I was outside this morning, or the last clip when I was outside, that was the next day. Things have been kind of wonky around here. I was thinking, I need to do some pruning on this guy. I'll stand back and have a nice, and that was my face. Bask in the glory of how beautiful it is, and you know, cut it up. Need to cut it up because it's shading a bunch of stuff that's over here. I noticed how spindly the growth was getting on this hibiscus here, and it's not blooming quite as much as it has been. I think that's because this is blocking out a good amount of the light. So need to make some cuts. Gonna leave the newest growth and then just come in and oh, these are so big. There we go. Get that off of there. Wish I knew what to do with this now. Should I go ahead and leave that one? I don't want to overdo it because they seem so happy. I'm gonna let it open up another leaf from here, and then I'll prune that one off. Maybe I should just try and I could tie these together. Maybe if I can find some twine, would that help? A little, not much. Actually, getting that one leaf out, that seemed to help quite a bit. As far as the plants go, everything's looking pretty good. I do have some pretty thirsty guys over here. And oh, look, I have to show you this. Remember the heart fern? Probably, if you've been watching the video from the beginning. There was a heart fern in the beginning. Look at it. Look at it. What the heck? It's only been 24 hours. I gave it a light watering, clearly. Not enough. Remember I told y'all I have to keep these things with a dome or something over them or else they just die. So I put this, whatever this thing is, on top of it, and I've been letting it soak up some water. I could actually probably pull it out from that water now and just set that someplace where it can rehydrate. That thing didn't last very long. I dumped the water out of there and put the bowl back on top of it. Yeah, they don't like me. Never done great with those unless they're inside of something enclosed. I was not joking about that. Only took a day. The thing's fully dried up. Iguana food. Oh, it's so colorful. Looks appetizing. I think this is where I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Like I said, there are some other things that I could do right now, but everything I can think of, I'm like missing something to get it done. Oh, but I did hear back from Hirts, like within I think 20 minutes of emailing them, and they said, oops, about forgetting the begonias, and they're sending them out. So not a big deal. They're shipping them back out. I don't know if I want to talk about it. Oh, look how good my skin looks with a greasy lens. That's not reality. Oh, now my skin just looks greasy. That didn't work out. I just wanted to end things and give a quick update, something that I've been talking about that's been going on for a while, and that's in regards to Toby, my dog Toby. We'll talk about it some more another time, but he's gone now, and that's why things have been a little bit weird in the video. Had to help him along the other day. He just couldn't walk anymore. Did everything we could for him. He's 14 and a half years old, so, you know, what can you do? Went to a lot of different vets, and, you know, it's just he had some muscle wasting, and, you know, he couldn't walk, then not much you can do for him. I had this special harness, was carrying him around on for several days, but it got to a point where he was just not able to support his own weight. The night before we took him in, he was doing that thing like you see marathon runners do, where he'd make it to his water bowl and be wobbling and just fall down. That's no way to live. So Toby's not around anymore. There will be a better dedication to him than this. I just thought, since I had mentioned it prior, that I would let everybody know what's going on and why things were maybe a little bit off in this video, a little bit scatterbrained, because it's just awkward pretending everything's okay when everything's not okay. Yeah, I can't talk about it any more than that because I'll absolutely just lose it, and I don't want to lose it. I try and keep this place nice and happy. Want this to be a positive environment. And yeah, that's enough of that. We can go back, look at some plants. I did want to mention, I didn't talk much about the tephra cactus, and I just thought I should say, when I was watering that in, that was just an initial watering to settle the soil. During the winter months, these really shouldn't be watered very much. They like things very warm and to be more on the dry side because, you know, it is a desert type cactus, right? So I was giving a lot of water, but that was to help settle the soil, and I kept it on the desk where the heater's been blowing, so that helps dry things out some. On that note, hope everybody's doing well. Having a great day, a great life, and everything's just going wonderfully for you. Comment down below, say hi. I do love talking to everybody. And what's going on in your garden with your houseplants? Not many of you are out there gardening right now, are you? Soon, hopefully soon. It's supposed to be pretty cold for the next week or two. That snow, it was like this much. Barely got any snow, but it was beautiful. There's spring stuff all over the store. I ran to the grocery store today and they had like all kinds of spring decor out. I'm so excited. We're almost there. All right, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.